What is up, sheepdogs? What's going on? Welcome to the Intuitive Sheepdog Podcast with your host, me, Autumn Schmidt. As always, I'm very excited to have you here with me on our journey to, figuring our lives out, right? If you guys have not checked out our amazing podcast sponsors, check them out. You can find them on Instagram at The Badge Life, or you can go right to their website at thebadgelife.com. You may have heard me say this, but the reason I really like them, I've endorsed them, I've allowed them to sponsor the podcast is, one, it is a Leo-owned company, very respectful, great customer service, and the product is well made, but it's also like I can go incognito with a lot of it. The logo doesn't exactly scream cop, which I like, so go check them out. Today's topic, what we're going to be talking about is we are going to be discussing what do you believe in? And I'm gonna tell you why. So if you're brand new to me, welcome. But if you've been listening to me for a little while, or if you follow me on Instagram, then you know a little bit about me. Hell, if you listen to this podcast, I have a lot of followers that binge this podcast. Then you've learned a lot about me. One thing is that I am a true believer. I believe in the powers of the universe. I believe in something higher than myself. I always have. And I'm going to tell you that I really feel like this has helped me in my life. It's helped me through a lot of dark and, unreasonable times that I've been through. I've been through a lot of shit. I'm sure just as you have, we have all been through our fair share of stuff, some different than others, and I think that what I'm going to talk to you about today is really important for somebody who maybe going through some hard times. Maybe you aren't going through the hard times yet, but it's inevitable. It's going to happen. Life is an ebb and flow. We all go through hard times, and then kind of get out of them. But I started a poll on my Instagram, and I just asked the other day if people believed in angels, and because I really believe in angels. When I was 2 years old, so I'm gonna kind of take it back, okay? When I was 2 years old, my mom said that's when I started talking to my imaginary friend, and it wasn't like a play thing. My mom said I was 100% convinced that I had an imaginary friend. And like my mom said, like I would literally have tea parties with her. Sometimes like my mom, like she would think that I did something, like I moved something or I did something. And I would look at her and I'd be like, I didn't do that, Mom. And she's like, well, then if you didn't do it, who did it? And I said, well, Maggie did it. And she's like, well, who's Maggie? And I said, she's my friend. She's sitting right here. And luckily, my mom is a shaman. And if you don't know what that is, it just means a very deeply spiritual person who practiced spirituality every day. And she was good with it. She knew, she's like, geez, that must be her angel. We all have guardian angels, and they're with us from the moment that we are born until the moment we die. And so she knew that I was, she knew that I had this bond, and she didn't crush my soul. And a lot of times we do that because we don't know, like our kids are actually really, really connected. Children are far more connected to like the universal powers than we are. And so because they haven't been crushed. They don't have all the bullshit. They don't, they've never been told that this shit doesn't exist. In fact, they know that it does exist. They don't have the bad habits or anything like that. And so it's really important. Like if you have little ones in your life, watch them, pay attention to them, learn from them. Children are honestly some of our best teachers because they're just so in the moment by moment by moment by moment. They're so innocent, so pure, and they just say it like it is. And then in the moment, they're going to throw a temper tantrum and then they're over things, unlike adults who just seem to continuously hold grudges and all that shit. So yeah, like my mom like did that for me. And so I grew up. I mean, I remember being, I don't know, sick. Like my mom said I started talking to my angels at 2. I remember being about 5 years old and still talking to her. I can remember right now, like I was getting ready to go out to dinner with my parents, and I remember having a full-fledged conversation with her. And then, yeah, I don't know, she's always been with me. And then when I went through like my high school years and stuff like that, like, I was too busy, worried about the popularity game, yada, yada, got into my ego, got out of my heart, and, lost kind of connection, if you will. And then when I went through, being a police officer, because I went through some traumatic shit very early on in my career. I mean, at 20 years old, I had not gone to the academy. I had very little training, and I was transporting several inmates, male inmates at a time, from one end of the state to the other. And when I say several, I'm talking like 5 to 10. I remember like one time I had like 10 or 12 male inmates in a van all by myself, and they started rocking it because they wanted to flip it over. I mean, just shit like that. It just never should have happened. It caused like a lot of fucking anxiety, a lot of shit for me. But the bottom line here is that I really tapped back into my, my connection, my spirituality. And I think it's a topic that is important. And I think it's important for me to quote, and I don't know who said this, okay, but it's a famous quote of, if you don't believe in something, you will fall for anything. And I just think that's true. And as far as like the falling for anything, like I also think that it means like you're just going to fall for the bullshit in life. There's like a lot of bullshit in life. People like, fill our minds with a bunch of crap all the time. And if you're not solid in your beliefs, then you're not going to be solid in your morals, and you're not going to be solid in who you are as a person. And I think it's all connected. I truly believe it's all connected. And I think it's like I said, like I just said 2 seconds ago, like it really is such an important topic. And I'm not teaching you religion. I don't want you to sit here and think like, oh, here we go, another, if you don't believe, or if you do believe, or whatever, like it's not that I'm teaching you religion, and I'm not pushing my beliefs onto you. Like whatever you believe is fantastic. Just believe in something that's going to give you faith, right? Like you need to have the faith. I think that in life, specifically for sheepdogs, but in life, I think it's easy for all of us to lose the faith. When times get really tough, when we're faced with adversity, if you do not have faith in something bigger than yourself, you will crumble. You will absolutely crumble. And I'm going to say that I've seen a lot of people who did not believe, who did not have a strong faith in something. I've seen them crumble over and over and over again. And this kind of seems to be the trend, whatever, in whatever area of life and whatever. Some people do have a very, strong faith, and they still choose to end their lives for different reasons or whatever. But, the difference between somebody who is going to become successful, make it in life, and be happy and optimistic, and somebody who, is not, probably is somebody, it's their beliefs. It's their beliefs. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you what beliefs are right and what beliefs are wrong. I'm not going to do that. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's what I believe, okay? So we're going to just go on that. Do I believe in God? I believe in God, and I believe God is the universe. The definition of God is I am that, comma, I am. And so I believe God is everywhere. I believe the universe is everywhere. That is what I believe. And so you'll hear me use those terms interchangeably. And I literally believe that the universe, God, has our backs. I believe that we can interact with the universe and have the universe work with us, or we can work against the universe. And they both, it is very easy to see who works with the universe and who does not work with the universe. I've done a lot of research in my entrepreneurial, hurt, injury-stricken state that started when I was, I don't know what, 27. I've done a lot of research, and the research has shown me that the most successful people in the world, while obviously there's no like religion, okay? Again, this isn't what this is about. There's no religion that's like right or whatever, but they all have figured out that if they work with the universe and they have a strong faith in whatever it is they believe in, and they work with the universe, then they make things easier for them and they become successful. You have to take a look at people like, think of Tom Brady. Now, for all of you not New England fans, I don't know what you're thinking. New England is my team. Tom Brady is amazing and I love him. But I definitely know that I have a lot of, Jet fans, and I have a lot of Dolphin fans listening to this, and they're not happy with me right now, but it's all right. Sorry. Shout out to you guys, because I like Tom Brady. So I'm just going to use him as my analogy. But I mean, we can even go into like Michael Jordan, Michael Phelps, like anybody who's the top of their game. Okay. And I'm just using an athlete because it's the easiest reference. They're 100% working with the universe, okay, because they're working with their natural talents, and they've obviously worked really hard to better their natural talents, but they have these natural abilities, whatever they may be, okay, that just makes them a little bit more talented than the guy next to them. But then when you couple that with working with the universe, obviously, like, and what do I say? What does that mean, working with the universe? Well, it means like talking to the universe, thanking it, giving it gratitude, praying, showing that, you have faith in it, and that you're working with it. Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, they talk a lot about the power of visualization. I know Michael Phelps did too. I've watched a ton of sports interviews, because a mentor who I absolutely love is Tony Robbins, and he actually coaches these people, and he has interviewed them, and they talk about the power of visualization, and just so that power of visualization is all connected, working with the universe. And so they believe, with their whole heart, they believe in the outcomes that they want to have happen in order for them to be successful, right? So like Tom Brady will work really hard, but he'll also visualize how the game is going to go and where he's going to throw the ball and da-da-da-da. And Michael Phelps, same thing. Michael Jordan, same thing. And they're finding massive success. And this goes for all sorts of people and all different areas. Take a look. I'll tell you this, take a look around at the people who you work with, who are just, you were like, oh my gosh, they just have this natural ability. What is their natural ability? Number one. And number two, like, notice how they're working with the universe and not against the universe. When things are really, really tough, when they feel hard, when they feel like, and there's a difference between working hard, okay, to get what you want, because like, you definitely need to work hard. Like, the universe isn't just going to hand you gold on a platter, right? Like, you've got to work for it. But there's this beautifully unique combination, okay, of getting into the flow, of working hard, but working with the universe, okay? And while it may not make a whole lot of sense to you, when you take a step back and you start looking around, take a look at like who you work with or who that just has like these natural abilities, who are dynamitely successful. Okay. And look at how they use their natural abilities. They have like refined them. They have, I want to say like polished them, and how they have applied them, and whatever their faith is. Obviously, every faith, in my opinion, works with the universal powers, and, and helps them. So like, take a look at that, because there's such a difference. Like, I just know for me, I'm going to just use like some examples in my life to like help like hit like hit this point home just in case you're still a little bit confused. For me, I always know when I'm not on the right path that I'm supposed to be on, when shit is just feels like I am trudging through fucking cement. Like it is, I am exhausted. I develop circles under my eyes. I feel like I can't think. I feel like I can't do absolutely anything right. I am in a shit mood. I feel completely frustrated, anxious. My anxiety will spike at an all-time high. I am stressed out and I just literally feel like I'm banging my head up against the wall. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? I'm not getting anywhere. What's going on? That is how I know that I'm not on my path. Versus, while I'm working hard, but things are just happening for me. Like all of a sudden, this person's reaching out to me and they're giving, they want to sign up with me, okay, in my program. This other opportunity, happened. A business owner who I happen to really like the business and believe in the business that they operate called me one day, needed a little bit of help. And now I help them with that. And it's amazing and it feels great and it's aligned. And most people would have had to gone through this interview and resume process and all these things, and not me. It was a very simple, quick, easy phone call. And now, we're both being helped, and I'm in a situation to be able to help this person and they're helping me, and it's great. When I'm just out of the blue getting, speaking gigs, I'm not even doing anything. Like I'm doing things by I'm preparing myself. I'm meditating. I'm putting content out there. I'm working hard at growing my podcast. I'm working hard at reaching more, people with my message. And I'm working hard at, serving my clients who are in the Intuitive Sheepdog program. Like I'm working hard in those aspects, right? But the universe is meeting me because I'm working with the universe, because I'm working with my talents. Versus, let me tell you, I tried to create a virtual self-defense company because I teach self-defense in person. I'm a second-degree black belt, taught cops, how to fight, the academy, I've been doing it since I've been 5 years old. It's something that I'm pretty well versed at. I know a lot about. But you guys, it was excruciatingly hard. It was so hard. The first month was great, had a lot of momentum. Second month was okay. Third month, not as good. Fourth month, done. And I still applied everything, but it was just that I've known marketing wise, but it was just really hard. It was hard. It was hard to get the signups. It was hard for me to even want to create content. I didn't even know what to say. I didn't even know who I wanted to target. I didn't know who I wanted to work with. I was kind of doing it because I could do it, because I was flirting around with the ideas of it. Stuff like that, very big differences. Can you kind of see comparing the contrast, the ease and then how hard that was? And some people will sit here and you might even find yourself saying, well, you should have just pushed through. No, I'm telling you, there's a very big difference here. There just is. And it's all about your feeling and how you feel. And you've got to get in tuned with that. And that is part of you developing your intuition, your sixth sense, your gut. You've got to develop that, because it's going to save you a lot of time, a lot of aggravation, a lot of frustration. You have got to go with what feels good for you. I will tell you, the universe works in mysterious ways. I had a client, I still do, and she was gaining weight and she was becoming miserable in her job. And I mean, I saw her deteriorate to the point where she was so stressed out, anything she ate, anything, would give her hives. She would break out in hives, and she doesn't even have any allergies. And when she'd go to the doctors, they'd be like, you don't have any food allergies, but yet she's in hives. She's living off Benadryl. Okay. I'm not kidding you. I'm not even exaggerating. This is what it was. She was so stressed out. She hated her life. She hated it all. And her and I chatted a million times. Probably literally we chatted about this 5 times. Okay. So getting back on track, if you heard the phone go off, I do apologize. It's my husband's work phone. So getting back on track, I think we talked about this for 5 weeks. We had this conversation. She'd just come in, man, I hate my job. Man, I hate what I'm doing. I hate who I work with. I started dating this person and I definitely should never have done that. Ended up shitty and just, I hate being at work. I hate what I do, the people who I work with. I mean, she would just go on and on and on, and she'd tell me about it and tell me about it. And I would tell her, I'm like, listen, you really need to consider like quitting. No, I know, no, him and Han. And I'm like, no. Like this is getting really bad. Like your body is showing you like you are ignoring it. You need to quit. Nope. She goes on vacation. She comes back and they fired her. Over, like, honestly, she's like, over what? And they like couldn't really give her like, they couldn't give her like an answer, and she's not a cop. So, she's not union based or whatever. So she like gets fired and she's devastated. And so of course we have a session and she's like, Autumn, like I'm devastated. Like, how could they do that to me? And the answer is this. The answer is, it wasn't them. She just chose to ignore the universe. She chose to ignore her body, ignore her intuition, ignore the signs. And this is what happens. The universe is going to do its thing. That's it. The universe is going to work. It's going to do its thing. Whether you are going to listen or not. And see this whole time, this like compilation of like all that shit, it just made life for her really, really difficult. It made things for her really hard. It made, she felt awful and she wasn't making a lot of money and just like all this stuff, but she wasn't willing to move. She wasn't willing to work with the universe at all. She just wanted to stay where she wanted to stay, and that was it. And that's the thing, you guys, like, this is it. This is like the long and the short, is the universe is going to help you because the universe has your back. You come in this human and have this human experience to be happy and live a joyful life and to give to the universe and to be productive and to serve humanity. Like, we all are here for different reasons and different purposes that like really, add to the universe and like, and to humanity, and to add to our lives, right? And to, do different things. Like, we all are here for different reasons. But so the universe knows why you're here. Or God knows why you're here. You don't. Clearly, a lot of us don't. Because if we did, then we wouldn't be wasting our time with shit that is making us low vibe. It's making us feel like shit. It's, it's literally messing with our minds. And so I tell you that story, and I'm coming here to talk to you about, you need to believe. You need to believe in something bigger than yourself, number one, okay? Whatever that is. Number two, I ask that you tap into the universe and start working with the universe. Take a look around. See, who just seems to be really tapped in and tuned on, and who isn't. And if you're like, well, Autumn, how do I develop ways to get like tapped into the universe? Number one, you're going to meditate. You've got to quiet your mind. You've got to meditate because the answers are all within. Everybody thinks the answers are everywhere else. I got to go to this training. I've got to go talk to this guru. I've got to go be around this. I got to go do this and that. No, I mean, like, you do need to attend trainings, like, right? Like, especially when you're, military, first responder, law enforcement, like, you definitely need to attend trainings to better yourself in your profession. But when it comes to your mind, learning tools, I provide tools for my students, and stuff like that. That's excellent. But the answers are all within you. And so the number one tool that I can pass on to you, that I pass on to all of my students, is the power of meditation and how to connect with yourself. It's simply breathing deeply for 5 minutes and just focusing on your breath. It's that fucking simple. Totally that simple. But when you do that, you clear out the hamster wheel inside your head. You clear out all your bullshit thoughts. You clear out all of that. And you give space to let the universe talk with you. That's literally what you give it space to do. And so I highly encourage you to do that. Take a step back, see if the universe is like, talking with you, but you're not listening. Like, it was talking to my client and pushing her. And she was in such a bad spot emotionally. Like, she just was so depressed and anxious, anxiety stricken and all these things. And it's because the universe was trying to make her feel so uncomfortable that she would have to do something different. And then when she wouldn't, the universe, did the last straw, took the last straw from her and caused her to get fired. And she'll tell you, like, if she wasn't with me and she didn't have this new perspective and she didn't go within her and meditate and really connect with her angels and her guides and really connect to the universe, like, she would have been in a really bad state, like not good at all. But when you can connect like with yourself and get really connected to like God and the universe, and like, they have your back, and like there's a greater purpose, and everything happens for a reason, then you don't become as depressed and you don't downward spiral as quickly as if you're like, fucking A, like my life is done. It's over. I have no choices. This was meant to be. Like, it was either I was going to flourish or I was going to, I'm not, and now I'm not. So there's nothing left for me. Do you kind of see what I'm saying as far as like the differences? And if you don't, and if you need some help, this is when you need to contact me about joining the Intuitive Sheepdog program. We are about a week away from our official launch. Right now is a great time to come in. You get grandfathered in at the lowest price ever. But this is exactly what I teach. Every week you get a new module, you get new things to focus on, to open up your mind, to teach you how to meditate, all these things. And it teaches you to become this much more, honestly, you're going to become a lot more happy, but you're like self-sufficient too in a very productive and positive manner. And you can help other people. Like, that's the best thing, is like once you figure this out, when you tap into the universal laws and work with the universe to help yourself, you're going to be able to help other people, which make it that much better. All right, sheepdogs, I hope you got something from this. I hope this is a different kind of podcast. We're really morphing into a different kind of podcast. This is really about, kind of spirituality, man, and just really opening up your mind and transforming your life in a whole different way. We can get on here, we can shoot the shit, and we've done that. We have 83 other episodes of us doing that. But now I think it's time to really tap into what's going to make us better. And this is the stuff that's going to save your life. It just is. So, if you haven't checked out our podcast sponsor, do that at The Badge Life on Instagram or thebadgelife.com. If you are not hanging out with me on Instagram, I'm at Intuitive Sheepdog. If you're not in our Facebook group, it's called Yes, the Intuitive Sheepdog. And if you want to join us, just message me, email me, or you can DM me privately on Instagram or Facebook. Let me know you want in on the Intuitive Sheepdog program. It's right now $45 a month. That is going to go up when we do our launch, because I'm going to have an official website and we're going to have a whole lot of stuff that goes with it. So come on in and join that if you could use some support. Otherwise, sheepdogs, I'll see you next time.